Hello everyone, I'm Guan, a new YouTuber. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to share with you the knowledge of underlying logics. The underlying logic refers to the most basic and fundamental laws and principles behind things or phenomena. It is the foundation of all complex systems, complex behaviors, thought systems, social phenomena, etc., and the core logical framework that determines how these things or phenomena operate, develop, and change. The underlying logic is similar to laws or principles. It is not limited to any specific industry or field, but is generally applicable. What are the characteristics of the underlying logic? 1. Universal. The underlying logic is cross-disciplinary and not limited to a specific industry. It can be applied in different scenarios and industries. For example, the underlying logic in business, such as supply and demand relationship. In economics, supply and demand is the most basic underlying logic. If demand is greater than supply, prices will go up and vice versa. Prices will go down. This applies not only to the market for goods, but also to services, the labor market, and even to interactions between individuals and others. For example, when applying for a job, if you have skills that are in short supply, you will be worth more and employers will be willing to pay more, which is a direct manifestation of supply and demand. The underlying logic in interpersonal relationships. For example, the principle of reciprocity. In interpersonal relationships, if you can provide help and support to others, others will be more willing to give back to you. This principle of mutual exchange holds true not only among friends, but also in business cooperation. So, by mastering this underlying logic, you can not only win the favor of your friends, but also get a head start in business negotiations. 2. Simplicity. The underlying logic is usually a simple principle, not so complicated that you can't understand it. The laws behind it are generally straightforward. For example, the law of causation, everything has a reason and an effect. For example, if you are not serious at work, you may eventually fail or be criticized by your boss. This is the causal relationship. And if you work hard and creatively, you can get a promotion or a raise. And the result is usually good. This causal relationship is very simple, but it is universal. Resource scarcity. One of the underlying logics of economics. Resources are limited, and needs are infinite, so you must learn how to use limited resources most effectively. This applies not only to the economic policies of the country, but even to the management of your personal time and energy. Time is the most limited resource. If you keep wasting time on trivia, you will definitely not achieve anything. On the contrary, if you have clear goals and focus on the most important things, you can maximize your personal benefits. 3. Profound. The underlying logic not only affects the immediate things, but also determines the long-term direction of things. For example, the underlying logic in corporate culture. If a company has a people-oriented culture, the well-being and development of employees will be placed in an important position. This culture will affect the long-term development of the company, because with high employee satisfaction and low turnover rate, the company can maintain stability and gradually grow. This is an underlying logic of the long-term competitiveness of the enterprise. The underlying logic in life. There are also some underlying logics in life, such as time management and value creation. If you can manage your time reasonably, improve efficiency and focus on the value you can create, your career will have long-term development, not just immediate small achievements. 4. Penetration. The underlying logic will be reflected at multiple levels and scenarios. It will not only affect the macro system, but also penetrate into the micro details. For example, the underlying logic in health and life, such as health is the greatest wealth. This is not just a slogan, but a fundamental principle that affects your life. If you neglect your health, stay up late for a long time, and eat irregularly, although you can't see much problems in the short term, in the long run, this will affect your physical health, which may eventually lead to some serious health problems. This is the underlying logic behind health. Health determines whether you can enjoy long hours of productive work and a high-quality life. The underlying logic in the family. For example, family harmony and strong relationships. If there are frequent conflicts and lack of communication among family members, this family relationship will affect the mental health and quality of life of each family member. The underlying logic is that family harmony is the foundation of personal happiness, and ignoring this will affect the stability of the family and society. Invisibility, the underlying logic, is often hidden behind the appearance. You may not see it directly, but it is quietly affecting the development of things. For example, the underlying logic in social systems, such as the balance between fairness and efficiency. The underlying logic behind many social systems is how to improve efficiency on the basis of ensuring fairness. For example, in a country's education system, on the surface, educational fairness is the most important. But if you blindly pursue fairness, it may lead to waste of resources and inefficient teaching effects. An appropriate efficiency improvement will promote the rapid flow of high-quality educational resources, thereby improving the overall education level of the country. This balance between efficiency and fairness is an underlying logic that affects the formulation and adjustment of social policies. Underlying logic in investment. The underlying logic of investment is the relationship between risk and return. The more money you invest, the higher the risk and the higher the return may be. Stock market investments, real estate investments, and even entrepreneurship all have such underlying logic of risk and return. It seems that each investment project is different, but they share a common underlying logic. Strive for higher returns by taking risks. 6. Instructive. The underlying logic can provide us with guidance and help us make rational decisions in complex situations. For example, underlying logic in management, such as incentive mechanism. The leader of a company or team must understand the needs of employees and motivate employees to work better through appropriate incentives. The underlying logic is that human behavior is driven by incentives rather than relying solely on command and control. If leaders understand this underlying logic, it can stimulate the intrinsic motivation of employees, and the cohesion and productivity of the team will be significantly improved. Underlying logic in negotiation, such as empathy, whether it is business negotiation or personal communication, the truly successful negotiation is often based on an underlying logic, understanding the other party's needs and positions, thinking from the other party's perspective rather than simply sticking to your own interests. This way of thinking can help you find the best solution and reach consensus. Summary. The underlying logic is not a visible detail, but a fundamental law that runs through the essence of things. It is simple, far-reaching, and applicable to any field. Mastering the underlying logic can help us deeply understand the essence of things and make more rational and intelligent decisions in life and work, whether it is business decisions, social communication, or personal growth. The underlying logic is subtly influencing our choices and outcomes. Okay, that's all the content I'd like to share with you friends today. Next time, I'll share some applications of underlying logics. If the video content is helpful to you, please give it a like, subscribe to and share my channel. Thank you all.